Is the business down there?
It's been better this year than it has been for about 3 years.
It's the same thing here.
Yeah, and as they're up.
Key West is doing much better than Marathon. Key West is really.
It's up 9% here. Everything is up except for cruise lines. The cruise lines is down 6%. And the reason for that is we're not getting as many ships to come in here because they say the harbor's too small. And they want to spend tax dollars to increase.
I don't think those cruise ships bring anything very positive.
No, they don't. They don't. They proved it. You know, it reminds me of development. In the old days, they kept pushing this in Key West. Is they figured that every time somebody built something, that this would be more taxes and so forth. But what happens is after a while, when you figure out all the facilities that you need, the water and the electricity and the whole bit, and the schools and all, you're going backwards, not forward. And then you got to raise taxes.
Right.
And I think one of the things in the latest economic deal is that people. I grew up in the Depression. I was born in '24, and in the '30s was really in the northern Minnesota. Where we were, there was something like 70% of the people unemployed. Closed down a huge steel plant. And but they don't realize it, and this has happened about every 25 years. It's what they call they had panics. They called them panics, and invariably it was always caused because the bank took risky investments with their friends, and then when they had to have the collateral, they didn't have it, and so we'd have another panic and it would crash. But a good example is Key West when I think of it. If somebody steals some salami from Fausto's and puts in his pants and we take him to jail, it costs us $1,000. It'd be better to give him a beer to go with it. But in the meantime, like this, where BB&T Bank was First Federal Savings, and those people invested in the North Carolina real estate, and they lost $41 million, and that closed it. And taxpayers paid for that. 41. Not one of those guys went to jail.
That's right.
$41 million. Right. And they're the ones that mortgaged. They mortgaged the golf course, which belonged to the city, and that's how the city got lost their golf course. You can't believe the stuff that's gone on here.
Yes, I can.
Pappy was the worst, and the Sneaky McCoy was next. I couldn't believe things that they tolerated. And your mother is very aware of a lot of the shenanigans that went on. She was very aware of it. She knew that Sneaky McCoy was no hero.
He was a charming man, a likable man, but obviously a pretty dishonest, kind of a con man.
The way he got here is he was in civil service at Gitmo, and he transferred to Key West. And at Key West, he started up a little business in some back alley near Duval. And he was absent so much, and his work was so bad that it was hard to fire civil service. But Mayor Harvey, who was the public works officer, and I'm trying to think of what was his assistant. Anyway, he was a lieutenant commander, and they were in the process of firing him, and McCoy found out about it, and so he quit. He was going to get fired anyway, and he went to Miami, nothing went, and he come back and started this, but he has never really done anything, and even the property he owns, Mrs. Hilton bought that Hilton Haven. She bought that railroad line and made that, and that's where he built a house there, but he never really had anything. It was always from Marilee McCoy, his wife.
She was a Hilton?
Yeah, she's a Hilton.
You know, the Hilton, they came here in the very, very beginning of the country. I mean, there was two brothers back before the Plymouth or London colony even came around.
Anyway, you think she's going to come home?
I do think she's going to
come
home. I think it may be longer than that.
And are you going to be the house sitter in the meantime?